I don't train 6 days a week. I don't do crazy volume, and I don't follow some trendy influencer program. I train 3 days a week, and I look better now than I ever did hitting the gym almost every day.
I'm right there with you, brother. I've actually noticed a big improvement to my gym performance when training with a lower training frequency approach. And within like the last 3 years of my training career, I found that with my personal schedule and just life commitments, that training with 4 times per week is really like the sweet spot to continuously build muscle and strength and just continue training calisthenics, weightlifting together to meet my goals and just overall expectations. So it's really refreshing to hear that you don't need to be training 6, 7 days a week and see progress because honestly, bro, that really doesn't make sense with a lot of people who are busy in life. Those who are doing 6 days a week, they are either students or they have no lives outside of the gym. Sorry to put it that way, but it is what it is.
Most fitness advice is made by guys on gear for guys on gear. And gear is slang for steroids. If you're new to the industry, you're going to hear gear, you're going to hear enhance, all these things. So if you're not enhanced, you can't train like them, eat like them, or recover like them and expect the same results. I used to fall for that. I would train 6 to 7 days a week doing bro splits, always chasing the pump, doing drop sets and supersets and running the rack and all these different phrases, all these hacks I thought would magically bring me gains. I did everything they said to do, but I still pretty much looked the same. I was somewhat pumped when I was in the gym, but I looked average, in everyday life and in a t-shirt and not getting any stronger, any bigger.
So I will say I used to relate to this part really early on, where training supersets, drop sets, everything under the sun. And to be quite frank, even though they have their time and place, overall, I will say that it is definitely not needed. And I think that's what the original content creator is trying to get at here. Because in a sense, they do feel good. They do help you get that pump in the gym, but not all good things that feel good is really beneficial for you.
What actually builds muscle naturally? Like, why does a muscle grow? Like, it cannot be this complicated. I shouldn't have to do all these mesocycles and all these phases and all this crazy stuff. Like, I should be able to pick weights up like the old school lifters like Steve Reeves and Leroy Colbert did, train a few times a week and recover. That's when everything shifted. I stopped chasing pump workouts and started chasing progression. Let me repeat that again. I didn't do pump workouts anymore. I started chasing progression. I trained fewer days, but with more intensity. So my workouts became more challenging. Every single rep, every single set, I was pushing to the bleeding edge without getting injured. I recovered. I tracked everything and I stayed consistent and my physique finally started to grow. So if you think you're doing everything right and you're getting tired of it and you kind of look like you lift, here's what I would do. Train 3 to 4 days a week. And if you're limited on time, 3 is fine. And it's what I'm currently doing. And it's what I'm going to be sharing in this example. I would train upper, lower, upper, or push, legs, pull. Tuesday for me is upper, Thursday is lower, and then Sunday is upper again. You can train on any day, but just have a rest day in between each training day and then 2 days in a row at some point in the week, or just rotate on and off. And then some weeks you will train 4 days, some 3. So you might go upper rest, lower rest, upper rest, lower rest. Just keep repeating that.
Now, currently, I do have a very similar approach when it comes to advising my clients and community members when looking to choose a new training split. Days that you can allocate to train per week is ultimately going to determine the training split that you will be doing. Because honestly, there's no one size fit all type approach. Somebody might be working multiple days per week, so they can only train X amount of days per week. Some person simply does not want to be training only 2 to 3 times per week, and they want to just be in the gym a little bit more frequent to be more motivated. And that in itself is a valid reason to train multiple times per week. So there's different ways to go about choosing a training split, but it primarily boils down to how many days can you be consistent with, how many days can you allocate based off your life commitment, personal goals, personal life. And that's going to determine the number of days you can train, aka the training split. So don't try to force your foot in the shoe if you don't fit. You feel me?
So each session starts with one heavy compound, and it could be bench, incline bench, overhead press, weighted pull-ups, squats, trap bar deadlifts, just anything like that. That's just like a good compound movement that's using a lot of your muscle groups. Right now, I'm doing incline bench, overhead press. I just swapped out the weighted pull-ups for lat pull-downs, And then instead of squatting, I'm now doing pendulum squats. Whatever lift you pick, stick with it for the next 12 weeks. Don't just change it every single week. And for that lift, you could aim for 3 sets of 6 to 10 reps, rest your 2 to 3 minutes, and then make sure you're tracking your numbers in your notes app, in a notebook, or just in some type of app. All of my programs that I share can be accessed in an app. Just check the link under this video to learn more. And then after the compound movement, that's when we move on to your accessories, and it's what I call the aesthetic builders.
Now, what he just broke down right here in a nutshell is defining what primary lifts are, which will be the primary compound movements that will set the foundation for the exercise selection for the rest of the training session. And if you see my videos, this shouldn't be new information because I made a lot of content revolving around the importance of exercise selection and hierarchy, and how it's the #1 reason to why a lot of individuals don't see the results that they want. I do like the fact that he mentioned weighted pull-ups though. My guy's very sharp for having that in his routine.
But just pick, good exercises that balance the rest of your workout from your compounds and build the aesthetic. So like for me on pull-ups and on lat pull downs, I like to do stuff wide gripped for the V taper. And then for, biceps, I like to do incline dumbbell curls. But most of my accessory movements are where I get more of my volume or my pump work. So the first part of the workout starts out a little bit heavier with a lower rep range for strength. And then the next part of the workout, or phase 2, is aesthetic. So I'll do anywhere from 3 to 5 sets. If I only do 3 sets on that first, compound movement, then that next movement will be 5 sets. So instead of doing 6 to 10 reps, I push either 8 to 12, 8 to 15, depending on what movement it is. And then for the accessories, it's about a 90-second rest.
Now, I'm really glad that he mentions the reasons to why he selects his movements. And just so I don't reiterate what he said, I actually want to show you this pyramid diagram that outlines the exercise hierarchy that he's currently doing and walking us through. Now, this is specific to hybrid calisthenic athletes, but everything in red is directed towards optimizing building strength, and usually strength training is done with lower rep ranges. And everything in blue is directed towards optimizing building muscle. As you can see, the base of this pyramid, the foundation will be the primary compound lifts. And as you go up the pyramid, you'll see the next priority lift to perform. For the original content creator, he presents the T-bar rows as a secondary compound lift, which will complement his primary lift like the weighted pull-ups. Then will be the isolations such as bicep curls to help target the neglected muscle group from the primary and secondary compounds. And last but not least, we have skills, which is an exception to the rule, and these should be done at the beginning as it is a strength-based approach and more technical to train. But like I said, skills is kind of like a exception to the rule. So if you're not doing calisthenic skills, then just don't worry about that part. Now, if you are interested in learning how to further build a hybrid calisthenics routine, then I definitely recommend taking a look at the Calisthenics Collective community that outlines in detail everything you need to know about fitness programming while implementing calisthenics with weights. It has over 15 videos that specifically targets building a routine from scratch, how to implement periodization, progressive overloads and its variances, and as well as training routines to get you started with examples. Check the link in the description or check the pinned comments.
You don't need as much volume as you think, but you need to train hard. Every rep and every set, you have to absolutely push yourself. And if you're new, give yourself some time to learn the movements. Don't just jump in and go absolutely berserk. Like, build yourself up. Just don't get injured, because that's the biggest setback. And remember, building muscle is a marathon. So what about deloads? I personally don't think about deloads much because I train 3 days a week. Recovery is no problem for me. I do encourage rotating exercises though to avoid overuse. So you might do this every 12 to 16 weeks or every 3 to 4 months. And you could do like incline bench to dumbbell bench, or wide grip lat pull down to close grip or pull-ups, just a slight variation of the movement. And this isn't required, but it can help you change up the movement patterns and avoid the overuse injuries on your.
So everything he said right here is very factual, and I just do want to call this part out. The approach of not needing to deload and having to switch up exercises every other week, I will add that it's not necessary so long as you're correctly periodizing your intensities, your volume correct, which I know he's not really implementing to a specific degree because he's running a hypertrophy specific program, and that's kind of different from a strength periodization specific program. However, if you want to optimize your strength training and you plan on training to failure or close to failure every single training session, that lingering fatigue will catch up to you very, very quickly, unless you periodize your training by taking deload weeks and you're just varying your intensities. Again, just want to call this out. This is specific to strength periodization, implementing strength training principles that the content creator that originally made this video is not doing. He's doing a more hypertrophy-based program.
And most importantly, guys, just stay consistent. This is the part nobody talks about. The real reason most guys stay average is they don't stick with anything long enough to see it work, which just frustrates me because they overthink, they jump programs, they quit when it gets boring. But this game is boring. It's repetition, it's discipline, it's tracking, it's eating, it's lifting, it's sleeping over and over for months and years. That's how physiques are built, not on trends or any 30-day shred challenges, but on execution.
And this honestly goes with anything in life. You have to be very tenacious with the things that you want to achieve in life. Be firm on exactly what it is that you want to accomplish. And of course, do your due diligence, do your research, look into what needs to be done to ensure that you're on the right track. But more importantly, put in those hours, those sets, those reps. But hey, what do I know? If you want to see more content like this, be sure to follow, man. I'm a Top Fitness Scout here. No cap.